Okay, we're live again. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Live again. Live, live. AMC took off today. Really showed strength of around that 570, 573, 575 level. It held and we shot up to 725 today. I never had such a PL, open PL on the market where I'm currently holding. But just the fact that news came out that all NYC 13 locations in NYC are opening by the 5th of March. That's not small potatoes. So that's quite the significant news for the company, and that will cause a snowball effect. I'm probably around, if it goes up to 8, it'll probably have a gap up, possible gap up in the morning to 8 or 9. And we could see 10. We could see AMT at 10, trading at $10 in the near future. And I'm curious as to where it'll be by the 5th. AMC could be at 12, $15. But I'm probably just gonna ride the wave. I'm not gonna be holding it for long. I just have to, you just have to find the bottom, find the top, and take it from there. Mm, yeah. Mm. Yeah. So we're live again. AMC closed at, I think it was 688, 685. Yeah, 689 in a very in a crucifix doji. So whatever that means, AC is going to continue to move. We're probably not going to see five in the anytime soon again. We're just going to go up and go up and go up, but you want to be careful because you will see retracements, you will see pullbacks, and so you want to be careful with that, especially me. It's just gonna have his little retracements, and you gotta figure out your exit plan to come back and come back stronger for another day. And try to not get hurt out there because you will get hurt. You will lose money doing this. So yeah, I'm expecting a gap up for AMC, probably $1 to $2. Uh, but steady. I see like steady before the 5th. I mean, it can get to like to 15, 17, and 20. But I just see, you know, you can't go crazy. I'm probably selling like at 8 and 9. Sell on full position, come back on Thursday and figure out another trading plan. Find the bottom, find the top, and take it from there. And ride AMC all the way up. But it's kind of exciting because it is a 100-year company, so uh, they overplayed the hand with the short interest. It's like this is 100 companies and movie theaters aren't going nowhere. So why is this? AMC can go up to like 30, 40. It's an undervalued company, extremely undervalued. So that's pretty exciting. But I expect a very a nice gap up by the morning. But I gotta figure it out. Exit plan. If I do want to ride the wave, because I don't want to get caught in a pullback. You don't want to get caught in a pullback. You don't, because this will dip down to like 630. You don't want to go down there. But it's gonna. I think it's gonna test like every price level as it continues to move. That's also possible. AMC could be everywhere tomorrow, but later, I guess. Yeah, let me see. AMC Entertainment Holdings shares shot up over 20% in the regular and after hours session today. What happened? AMC rallied on Monday after New York Governor Andrew M. Cuomo announced that movie theaters in New York City are permitted to reopen. We will now be reopening various recreational activities across the state, including billiard halls, weddings, and movie theaters in New York City, the governor said in a statement. Additionally, movie theaters closed and any remaining parts of the state can also reopen on March 5th, provided by they adhere to guidelines. So, it's going to open up at 25% capacity, must wear masks, ventilation, purification norms must be met by the film exhibitors. So, I mean, but don't diners, isn't there indoor dining in some places like, and then it's just gonna cause a chain reaction because like also in MetLife and City Field, I think you don't have to have a COVID test is at full capacity. So I just see like a bright future. The capacity, I just see that's not gonna really. I mean, in the beginning, but you gotta weigh all your odds when you're investing in these companies. But AMC is a legitimate investment, in my opinion. Yeah. Are you holding on AMC? You holding? You have an open position on AMC? Mm, I'm holding 140 shares. I brought at 581. I averaged down to 581. I sold a little bit too much, so that's why I think just that's what I'm left with. I originally started at 393 shares. I sold a lot of them today because you know I'm a little it's a give and take, and so I'm trying to take as much profit off the table, but probably I'll sell when we get a morning gap up, or when we get to 8 or 9, possibly 10. But that's just wishful thinking. Like at 10, I got to take my profits and I'll write it up, find the bottom, find the top, and take it from there. I'm holding on Nokia. Nokia. It just means, I mean, Nokia moved like 8 cents today. No, like Nokia is gonna get some news that's gonna make it move pretty soon, sooner or later. It moved like it was just 8 cents. Like it had just like what, like 12 cents. So Nokia is just consolidating. I've never seen a chart like that move like that. How Nokia is moving. Look at that. There's shares being traded on Nokia. Like there's actual like volume. Like people are buying. Like they're still buying. Like look at this. 447,000 shares. Like, and this is just on a day where price is just stagnant. 965,000 shares. 1,074,000 shares. Look at that. So Nokia is a pretty good buy. It's a solid buy. You know, it's not gonna go any further than like 370 because there's really not much. You know, whatever you call it, not much price. Not much liquidity, whatever you call it, at those levels. So Nokia's gonna see news pretty quick. You're gonna see news on Nokia. You're gonna see some good news, and Nokia's gonna move how it's supposed to move. It's a decent hold. I mean, I'm not losing much on it. Whatever I've lost, I'm probably gonna make back on over here. You got SNDL, I'm holding probably about around the 120s, the $1.20 mark range. That's a pretty good buying area. But really, anywhere is good on SNDL. I mean, if you look at SNDL 2 months from now or a month from now, it's gonna move. SNDL is gonna move. Just how Tilray, CGC is gonna move. But did SNDL have any news today? I mean, Sundial Growers expects to raise gross proceeds of 989.1 million after shareholders exercise their warrants to purchase common stock. Holders of 98.3 million warrants to purchase common shares will exercise the warrants at prices of 80 cents and $1.10, according to a Friday news release. The company will then issue 98.3 million warrants that entitle holders to purchase one common share per warrant at an exercise of $1.50 per share. So, what is a warrant? I saw it. Somebody. What is that? When you purchase a warrant when you're investing? What is Warrants are long-term instruments that also allow shareholders to purchase additional shares of stock at a discounted price, but they are typically issued with an exercise price above the current market price. All right, so you essentially you're paying to play within the market to yeah. All right. In finance, a warrant is a security that entitles the holder to buy the underlying stock of the issuing company at a fixed price called exercise price until the expiry date. Warrants and options are similar in that the two contractual financial instruments allow the holders special rights to buy security. Both are discretionary and have expiration dates. The word warrant simply means to endow with the right, which is only slightly different from the meaning of option. All right, so that looks like a bright future. I mean, it's like you're under contract, I guess, when you have these penny stocks and these weed stocks that are projected to have like to go up to five, and then they go to five, they go to 10, they go to 15, and then if you're still around, I guess you got to purchase a warrant, you know, just because it's like proof of signature, I guess. I don't know what the hell. A warrant. Guess I gotta buy one. I don't know. Depends on many. Let me see. SNDL. Uh, I didn't know you had to buy warrants. Just recently learned about that. All right. But AMC reached the all-time high of $7.25 right after the post market. That was at 4:40 p.m. AMC went up to 7.25. I was thinking about selling right there. I was like, nah, this thing is gonna run a little bit higher. I'm thinking about, yeah, selling higher. We're gonna have a little gap up in the morning. I'll probably sell. I'm thinking about selling around 8 or 9. I mean 10. I can look forward to 10, but that's like wishful thinking at that point because we're probably gonna have a little retracement back to like 7, and I don't want to do that. So uh, why does it say my PO is like $46? That's weird. That's weird. What's that all about? But when I sign into TD, it says that I'm over $300, $301, whatever. They gotta correct that. Hmm. You trade TD. What do you trade on? What platform do you use? What brokerage? What broker do you use? I use TD. You use E Trade. Uh, Ninja Trader, Speed Trader, CDFs. You know what a CDF is? CDFs kind of sound cool. I want to get a funded account. Get a funded account with like 20K in it. Build it up. Just deposit money like that. That's nice. We're gonna take the options chains on AMC on Market Beat. Options chain and prices. Analysts suspect AMC Entertainment Holdings on the New York City Stock Exchange. AMC will announce quarterly sales of 181.47 million. Wall Street analysts forecast that AMC Entertainment Holdings will report sales of 181.47 million for current quarter. Zacks report 3 analysts have made estimates for AMC Entertainment earnings, with estimates ranging from 123.30 million to 252.40 million. AMC Entertainment posted sales of 1.45 billion during the same quarter last year, which would indicate a negative year over year. growth rate of 87.5%. The company is scheduled to issue its earnings report on Thursday, February 25th. According to Zacks, analysts expect AMC Entertainment will report full-year sales of 0.26 billion for current year, with estimates ranging from 1.20 billion to 1.33 billion. For the next fiscal year, analysts forecast that the will report sales of 3.34 billion, with estimates ranging from 3.7 billion to 3.71 billion. Zach sales calculations are an average based on survey of research firms that cover AMC Entertainment. Uh, so AMC is a pretty good solid investment. Um, it's looking pretty strong right now. It's looking right. I mean, it got an all time high of 725, but it closed at 689 in the post market. So I think it's looking strong. It's right where it needs to be. Nothing too crazy, but I think it'll have a nice gap or morning gap up. You can see on you can just see that pattern. Like it has that like cradle pattern that creates. That means that there's still a huge underlying volume. So if you look at the chart pattern in the post market, what they call it, cup and handle pattern. So it'll just you know we could see a morning gap up on AMC, but then again, you will see gap bumps when prices consolidating sometimes. So that's kind of interesting. Fintel, Fintel dominate the financial markets. Jesus, don't you want to be like Elon Musk? Well, he just pays the trades. Like he just it's like he just goes to the bank and he places a trade of like what you gonna call it? Tesla SEC filings, Tesla institutional ownership, Tesla ETF owners, Tesla balance sheet, Tesla mutual fund owners, Tesla short interest, Tesla insider trading report. Isn't that nice? Where he just places a trade and then his PL is like $61 million. Wouldn't you like to be him? Wouldn't you like to be him? I know. God damn, that's really nice. I mean, that's a good life, man. That's a pretty good life right there. You just place a trade. I mean, because he sees it all. He knows all the numbers. You know, he's the insider of all insiders. So direct M sales, exercise, direct S sales. So this is them purchasing stock and sales. Oh, in 2015. Oh my God, this is just Jesus. How much is that? That's profit loss, post value, remaining shares. Shares change, share price, direct, direct, direct. This is so nice. You got so much information. Sorry. S8POS. S8POS as filed with Securities and Exchange Commission on June 12th, 2019. Registration number. Registration number. What is like the ISIN? Registration number 333167874. Tesla Incorporated. Palo Alto, California. Deer Creek Road, 303500. What do you like to be Elon Musk? It's like you just pull up to like Jesus. My God. Where's it trading at? Where's Tesla trading at? Tesla. Tesla's down 8.55% on the day. It closed at 714.50. $714.50. After hours, it went down to 710.90. Wouldn't you like to be him? Apple, Amazon. Apple's trading at 106.26. I don't know. Jesus. Wouldn't you like to be him though? Jesus. And you just see all those numbers in your account, and you just wire transfer to. Oh my God. Wouldn't you like to be him? Like that's what I'm thinking about right now. I'm just thinking about money. That's all I'm thinking about. Jesus. What else is on Fantel? Ninja Trader. Ninja Trader. Why pay for trading software? Who is Ninja Trader? They connected with other brokerage, with other brokers. Ninja Trader Group LLC provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services over 40,000 traders worldwide. Ninja Trader seems pretty cool. When I get out there, when I have my little, I probably won't use. I'll probably just use my TV, and I'll buy a little mini PC and do it like that. I'll probably still use my laptop when I am there. I suppose like a year or two from now. Bloomberg terminal. You use Bloomberg? You use Bloomberg, a little Bloomberg. You got your little Bloomberg. Open up your Bloomberg terminal. I don't use Bloomberg. You gotta like. You have to have like. You have to be in a waiting list. Like you have to apply for it. But I've been making money without Bloomberg. Sounds cool though. Looks cool. It kind of. I don't know. It kind of puts that like that stamp of approval on you. Whoever uses Bloomberg, you're making. Like, are you trading or are you doing what on Bloomberg? Look at that. That kind of looks cool. Real time market data, Bloomberg. Denison University, Denison Education. Real time market data. If you're in data, especially financial data, Bloomberg terminals are unrivaled in their comprehensiveness. Looking for corporations' financial statements from last year? Check. Want to compare it to this year's? Double check. Want an in depth overview of that business entire industry? Triple check. So but you don't need Bloomberg. You got FinTech, you got Market Beat, you got YouTube. But Bloomberg looks. I mean, if I had like, how much does a subscription cost from Bloomberg? They charge you an annual fee of $290. Mm. And possibly, probably not now. And LOC will run you for like 247, $274. You want to form an LLC? Tesla Motors. Like, wouldn't you like to be him? Like, have you ever seen an MLB pay stub? Like, doesn't that like you ever seen an MLB pay stub? Huh? You ever seen those little numbers? Looks boom, withdrawn, state tax, medical. I mean, those numbers are small, and then they got to pay like a clubhouse subscription or a clubhouse fee, and then at the bottom it has their gross whatever income, their net income, which is what they just got paid. It says like 400,000 something. I mean, that's still money because that's out of like what they're making a year. Some of them they're making like 61 million a year, like 300 million for like 2 years. You ever seen an MLB pay stub? That's probably how he feels, right? He's cashing in his MLB pay stub. Elon Musk, Jesus, uh, MLB. Yeah, I'm not going nowhere on AMC though. Just write it up. It's gonna go up where it needs to be. AMC is gonna be fun. You just watch. Just watch. You got money to have fun with it. Where's MLB? MLB pay stub. Look at that. 427,000. Pittsburgh. 115 Federal Street, Pittsburgh, PA. What is that team called? The Pirates or McCutcheon? Life's good. Like, what we gotta do? We just gotta sit up here and do research and shit. Play with some numbers. You get put through the wire, but it's not that bad at all. Jesus. Have some meeting with some Saudi, with some Dubai Emirate princes, with some Saudi princes. How much you want to invest? You got 2 million, 3 million overnight. Your company grows in value like 200 million, 98, 80 million. Life's good. What are you selling? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're getting yourself into? And if you do, you will succeed tremendously. You got your taxes done. I got my taxes done. I miss working though. I miss it. Like when I was working, I was happy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like working, it makes you feel good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to do security for one of the best security companies on earth because it's not really a security company. Like it has its own security, and that's Madison Square Garden. You ever work for Madison? Doing security for them is the best. That's the top tier. That's how good it's gonna get for a lot of people. I mean, you can do like private contractual work and make as good like yeah like a secret service agent makes can make upwards of 150,000 per year. That's pretty good money for somebody like with a family or whatever. You get medical insurance, you get dental insurance, you get a lot of perks being secret service agent. But I was working for MSG. I did one season at Radio City Music Hall. I never forget it though. Like that was one of the best jobs ever. One of the best times of my life, and I was pretty much like a loner, but I still like what I did. I still liked it. You get to see you get to see the Christmas spectacular and all that. Then you have your lunch, you have your break, and you go back in there. But that was the best time of my life working for MSG. I had a friend who did like 3 years, but he got fired. What they pay an hour? MSG pays like 21.54 an hour. They pay pretty good, and if you, it's a damn good job. If you work there, if you manage to work there all year round, and he did, he worked there like for 3 years, but he got fired because of life, whatever. I wouldn't mind doing that though, security. And when we're working for MSG, it doesn't get any better than that. and you can go anywhere for MSG. If you worked for MSG and you've got them, if anything happens, and to me, I know I got something to fall back on. Well, I don't really see that. I don't possibly see that happening for any time soon, unless I just want to, out of my own will, like I just want to go and do something new again, or like do something that I still love doing, which is security, doing security for MSG, working for them. I have no problem. But the thing is that the way that they operate, especially like for the venues for MSG, because you could work at Madison Square Garden, you can work at the Beacon, you can work at Radio City Music Hall. But the thing is that they have favorites, like the bosses, the supervisors, like they will have favorites, and they will like shove you off, and you will have to figure shit out for yourself in that type of environment. But I had a good time. I put in my double shifts. I worked like 11. I had like 11-day weeks where it just literally the next after that Sunday, that following Monday, like I've been working from like Saturday, from what, to Sunday to Saturday, and then the next Sunday and Monday I'm still working. So I've had like those runoff weeks. Well, I like that type of shit. I like the type of work. I don't know why. I don't know why. It just feels good. I like it. I like doing that. It's probably because I was making money. Like they pay 21.54 an hour. Like it doesn't get like, I don't know, unless you want to like you want to become a supervisor, or like 21.54. 21.54. That's damn good pay. Security field has a lot of. It's pretty good. Mhm. Let me see. Shit. I want to get my MLB pay stub. Just cash out. Like how much does that say? Oh, 97,000. What? What? You kidding me? No. You kidding me? I have in 100K month. What does that pay stub say? Oh, 50K. You kidding me? Are you like? Are you shitting me? Like this is where I want to be. Don't get it twisted. Oh, what the hell? The hell? So if I purchase a stock, let me see something. So I put an order. It looks like funds are back in my account. How did that happen? You don't have sufficient funds to place this order because recent trades are not yet settled. Okay. I'm probably selling like at 9 or 8, depending on whether or not AMC has a morning gap up. But life's just getting better. It's just getting better. And depending on that, on whether I'll find some money to wire it back into my account. But moving on from AMC, I'm not leaving. Like it's just AMC's become my bread and butter. But I've learned, oh my God, have I learned so much about this. Ben Q, Ben Q monitor. I don't know. I don't need a monitor. Shit. You ever wonder how much athletes get paid? Of course. LeBron gets paid like 149 million in yearly salary in his yearly contract. Mini PC Windows 10 Pro. So that's probably again. I'll just look it up to my TV, and I'll continue to trade up my laptop for. But I don't know until when. And I'll just see the charts on my TV because my TV is literally right here. It's just literally like it's right in my face. I think that's what works well for me and my little condition too. Dell U series, 32-inch screen LED lit monitor. What's this? Look at that. It looks kind of convenient, but it costs money. It's expensive. $818. I'll buy that that Dell monitor. So depending on how I feel with AMC, I'll probably write it up to 10. and take my profits, and then keep riding it there on, because AMC's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential. I mean, you go to this right here. These orders are insane. That's an insane amount of volume. That's 4,300,000 at 2:49 p.m. 3,424,000 at 2:47 p.m. So all these price levels they've been brought, and I think there's a lot of people holding. So I'll think I'll ride it up to 10, sell, and look for a retracement and take it from there. I'll probably buy around the same share size, around 360, or ride it up to 12 or 15, sell again, so ride it up to 15, 12, uh, buy it around 15, again 12, ride it up to 17, boom, same thing. Ride it up to fine. They're probably gonna sit around 17. Ride it up to 20. Boom, sell again, and that's how you build your account. You know. Oh, what's up? We got two views right now. What platform? Huh? You're holding AMC. What you doing, AMC? What's up? Shit. Uh, you got the Bloomberg terminal. The Bloomberg terminal. This is the Bloomberg terminal. This is the Bloomberg terminal. We got. You want to pay 229 a year for Bloomberg? No, I don't got 229. 290. All access. $330 Bloomberg. I mean, that's kind of cool. It puts like that stamp of approval on you and what you do. Like you got the Bloomberg terminal. No, I'm just looking up cool shit. So yeah, AMC reached an all-time high of 725 today. 725 at 4:40 p.m. 4:39. It closed at 689. On a doji candle. Buyers were winning though, as you can see. You can see the overall market sentiment. You should check the 20-day chart on AMC. Check that 20-day chart. I'm checking that 20-day chart. And yeah, look at that. Just bullish overall. A very strong bullish candle. So expect big moves to AMC later in the morning. Expect big moves. Just if you're gonna get out, if you're gonna continue to hold, because it will have a retracement. It just depends on when it'll happen and how what's your risk tolerance. I mean, for me, I suppose it's very high because I had over $2,000. I had a $2,800 loss on EMC. So yeah, and look at that. When was this candle? This was, oh yeah. Look at that. You can pull up the 20-day chart. Just extremely bullish candle. Look at that. Just bullish throughout the day. Bullish. It's riding up. AMC's riding up. You know, and I was just surprised of how well it held. It went down to like 573, 574, and it just, oh my god, just the whole pre-market, it was just testing that. It was testing that level, and it held and it shot up all time high of 725. So expect something special to happen for AMC, but play your cards right. Play your cards right. Do your research and know what the hell you're doing. Because the last thing that you don't want to do that you want to do in this thing in this business is lose money and not know what the hell you're doing. What's the short interest? Manic frame. Let me see. On market beat, I think they said it was like 70 million, 65 million shares shorted on the short side today. Let me see. AMC short interest. Hmm. Oh, this is on Fintel. You can look it up on Fintel. Subscription required. Short shares availability. Well, that's just today. There's 1,300,000 shares. Time since last change 42 minutes. Oh, you need a subscription for Fintel? But that's like, oh damn. I may subscribe to Fintel then. But where did I see it? On Ben. AMC short squeeze. Entertainment occurs when large amounts of short interest in a stock increases in price. This forces short sellers to cover their short positions by buying actual shares of AMC. What? Okay. In which turn drives the price of the stock up even further. I was just on market beat. What the hell's going on? No, where's the actual number? That's what I'm looking for. If you got it, you can post it in the chat. AMC Entertainment. Short interest. Current shares short. 37,720,000. So how much is that? How much is that per market capitalization? That's like 40%, 30%, 35% of the market is short. Yeah. Market cap is 341,058,000 owned by institutions. Yeah. 37.24%. So that's about right. Yeah. That's on shortsqueeze.com. So that's just an abundance of knowledge. So yeah, you still here. You got one person in here. Yep. So expect good things out of AMC. That's kind of cool. Today's Tuesday. I don't know, but I've been holding since the 14th. So I guess that's why. My funds already been settled. AMC. I may subscribe to Fintel. Buy myself a printer or some shit. Fintel. I didn't know you had to buy warrants when you trade penny stocks. Probably because of the upside potential and all of that. And you got to probably claim ownership on a warrant or whatever. It's contractual agreements and shit.
So what you see here is my dashboard. I wouldn't take any, I wouldn't assume that anything that I'm following on this dashboard is something that you should be investing in. So don't take my dashboard as being something that represents investing advice or some kinds of secret sauce that you guys should be following. I do follow a lot of companies I don't particularly want to invest in, so that's just letting you know that. But what you can see here is I've got a heat map of stock. Obviously, you've got AMC, you've got BD, you've got all the recent stocks that have been making the news. And you can see it kind of shows you what they've done in the last day. If you want to add tickers to this, you can simply type in stuff like GE, and it will quickly add something to your stock list, to your dashboard. It's also possible to manage this list with stock lists. So I have a couple lists here that I can organize my lists. In order to set up a stock list, you go over here to settings, you click on the down arrow to open up this folder, you click on stock lists. And now you can see that I have two of them here. My default list is a follow list. And if I'm out on Fintel somewhere and I see a button that says follow this company and I click follow this company, it's going to put that company in its default follow list. But I can also create other types of lists, such as large caps or technology or things like that. And I can say things like, here's a technology, and I can add what's a company that we'll add Snapchat, right? So here's Snapchat. And now I've added this to my list. And when I go back to my overview, I can actually see this will refresh in a second. There's a lot of cache in this place, but at some point I'll be able to see my technology list and so forth. So this is kind of how we do it. Now, on this overview page, besides having the heat map at the top, we have news from your dashboard. So this is going to have news that are all listed news headlines that are relevant to the stocks that are in your dashboard. We've got SEC filings, so any relevant SEC filings that we think are important will show up here. And the types of SEC filings that we think are important include things like 10Ks, 10Qs, 8Ks, 6Ks, which are basically 8Ks but for foreign companies, 13Gs, which are basically ownership filings and so forth. Obviously, proxy statements, S1 filings, which indicate offerings or potential dilution are important. And just in regards to SEC filings, I mean, my philosophy is that the SEC filings are really probably more important than the news. There's a story, there's an academic study somewhere that said that they gave a certain number of asset managers. They did a study, they said a certain number of asset managers don't read any of the news. They said to the other asset managers, read the news. And it turns out that the ones that didn't read the news actually did better performance-wise. And so a lot of the news is just noise, in my opinion. But if a company, if there's news for a company, and the company management believes that it's going to have a material effect on the share price, they have to disclose that news to the SEC and to the public. And so, there's really, in my opinion, no better arbiter of what's newsworthy than the company itself, because if they don't disclose the news and the share price moves significantly, then what happens is they get sued for um, for not disclosing something that should have been disclosed. So we're going to disclose stuff, and it's going to be in the 8Ks, and it's going to be in the filing. So always check the filings, and always, pay attention to these, because it's important. And here's just a current report from NIO. It's not always going to be market moving, but here's where they talk about they delivered 7,000 vehicles, increasing by 50%. So that's good, right? This is in the SEC, but you don't have to go to any news site for that. It's right here in the filings. The other thing that we follow is insider transactions. Obviously, companies that have corporate insiders, VPs, board members, and significant shareholders, all have to disclose their filing. It's not illegal for companies for insiders to trade in their own shares. It's only illegal if they have material non-public information. This is something that's really important. I've actually done a tutorial on this on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, go read it. But basically, this is going to show you who's buying and who's selling exercise from your shares in your portfolio companies. Pretty much, I don't want to say it's in real time, but insider trades have to be reported within 2 days of the actual trade. But it's about as close to real time as you can get. And in terms of timing, we get all of our data from the SEC, and in the SEC every 60 seconds we get filings, and so it's pretty quick. In addition, I'm not sure why I'm not getting advanced ownership metrics here, but we should be getting ownership transactions here. Besides insider transactions, I'll look there. But you should be able to see them like over here, for example. Here they are. So in addition to all those things on the overview, we also have kind of larger pages over here to the left that kind of gives you more depth, more detail, and it allows you to page a little bit more. So any questions about this so far? This is kind of the core of what FinTel's dashboard does. How did you access the SEC filing? I went over here to the left in the nav bar, and I clicked on SEC filings, and then there's the SEC filings. You do not have to subscribe to anything further than a quarterly subscription in order to see all the insider transactions. So if you're a premium member and paid, then you should have if you've paid your money, then you should have access to everything. This issue down here is a bug of some type that must have cropped up recently, because and I'm actually not logged in as a premium member, so it could be something that just affects my own account. How recent is the information? So depends on the information. As I said, insider trades are reported within 2 days, and we get the data once it's reported to the SEC within 60 seconds or so. Ownership data, depending on the ownership data, is going to be somewhat delayed. 13F filings are required by large institutions every quarter, and they are required to report within 45 days after the quarter. So there's a lot of different filing deadlines. I'm not going to go into them all right now. There's actually a help article that we wrote, an analogous article about this, just because the requirements are very different for all filings. If you have a padlock in your paid number, talk to us. Talk to me after the webinar. We can fix that for you. In addition, it's possible that a lot of people like to follow funds. So we have a lot of ownership data in Intel, and we have funds. So if you, for example, are interested in the Baker Brothers, which is a well-known hedge fund, and they do a lot of biotech, okay, and you want to understand like what they're investing in, okay, you can go to the Baker Brothers page on Intel, and then add this fund to your dashboard. I've already added it, so this button says remove, right? So I can add this fund to my dashboard. All the funds that you follow are going to be up here. If you're not following any, then we're going to seed this list with a bunch of ones that we think are interesting, okay? So these are all the funds that I'm following, okay? Point72, well-known, hedge fund, Perceptive Advisors, Melvin Capital Management made the news because they were the ones shorting GameStop. So, Once you follow these guys, then you can see these institutions over here. This button will pop up, and you can see what they're following. So we're looking at, this is not showing you the companies that I'm following. This is showing you the companies that are held by the institutions that I'm following. So I can see here that Toes Corp has exited Google. I can see the state of New Jersey has exited Mylan and so forth. Okay. Institutions. This is all right. All right. So then, what else? We have some teams, some message boards, and some collaboration tools that I think are important. Everybody who signs up becomes a member of the welcome team. I encourage you guys to come over here and participate. I'm on here and I try to answer questions on the welcome team quite frequently, and I announce new product ideas and announce kind of engineering updates on that. And then we have the ability to see screens, and that's kind of it for the dashboard. In terms of alerts, a lot of people ask about alerts. We have a certain number of global alerts that are interesting. People frequently want to know. They want to be able to set up an alert anytime they insider buys something, or anytime an insider buys something that's valued over 25K, or anytime there's a insider. So that kind of stuff. We have these alerts here that you can set up. We have the ability to get email alerts whenever the funds that you're following do important things. This is here. Then we have this kind of company alerts thing where we can set up kind of email alerts for them. And the kinds of alerts that we send are basically, we curate this list. And so we're going to send you an email anytime there's a significant filing, proxy statement, S1 statement, that kind of, the same kind of stuff that shows up on your dashboard. We're working on expanding this to provide a lot more granularity so that you would be able to say, send me an email anytime somebody files form XYZ, that kind of thing. So that's in development still. And then of course, if you want to see your alerts, you can come over here. We actually have built this out. A lot of people get the email alerts. Sometimes I find that email alerts are a little bit hard to manage. And so any email alert that you get is going to also be mirrored in here. You can come in here and take a look at the detail. And you can see kind of like what the security was, what the shares were, and so forth, and go get more information this way. So we spend a lot of time on this. I hope you like it. If you have any questions about this, let me know, and I can try to answer your questions about that. So that's the basics of the dashboard. Can you see who is holding short positions? Right. So, so the answer is if they have disclosed them. So let's talk about short data, because everybody seems to want to know about short data. Let's just kind of step back for a second. If you guys all recall, Melvin Capital and GME, because Melvin Capital was shorting GameStop, and the Wall Street Bets guys got on board and decided they were going to try to create a short squeeze, and they did. It was successful. It was the most successful short squeeze in history. And so I went and did a search on Melvin Capital and GME, and you can see here the news. But if you go a little bit further down, you can actually see Melvin Capital ownership in GME from Fintel. This is our page here. And if you click through on this, what I find is interesting is that Melvin Capital does not actually disclose any traditional short positions. And let's talk about that for a second. There's really two ways to short a stock. One of them is to borrow shares from your broker and then sell it, and then sell it, and then the idea is we buy it back at a lower price later on. That's really the traditional way of shorting a stock, and that's what you think about when you talk about short interest. But if you look at Melvin Capital, and this will show you all of the short positions that Melvin Capital has, they don't have any. They have not disclosed any. What they have disclosed is a very, very, very high number of put options, which is another way to short a stock. So it's interesting because you can see that over the years, their number of put options has climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. But if you were just looking at short interest, this wouldn't even register. So But you can see that here. You can see the disclosed put options. And you can see that their numbers have gone higher and higher and higher over the years. So the question that you ask is, can you see companies holding short positions? The answer is yes, if they disclose it. So let's talk about more short positions here. We talked about put options. We at least we're going to get there. Okay, we're going to get to how you can check this stuff. Okay, so I just want to make sure you all understand like what a put option is and what a traditional short option. You can actually go to GameStop, for example, and I can say GameStop institutional ownership right here, and I can see the ratio of put options to call options. The put are the red and the green are the calls. I can actually come down here and I can sort this. I can do a little. I can say put in here, and I can see all the put options. I can sort it by shares, and obviously the largest holder of put options is Melvin. The second one is Susquehanna Capital International Group, and so forth. Okay. Now, if you want to see funds that have disclosed kind of traditional short positions, you can sort this by shares, and what you're going to see is you've got one company here that's got negative 5,000 shares, and so that is a traditional short position where they've borrowed, and that's kind of what that looks like there. There's only one company here in GameStop that's actually got a disclosed short position here. You can also go over here to ownership, short interest owners, and I've got that same data here. I don't have the put options here, but I've got the traditional short borrow holders here. And then the question then becomes, how do you figure out how do you discover new companies, right? So let's go talk about short data here. I'm going to go to Tesla. I'm going to go search for Tesla here. Tesla short. And I'm going to go look at the short interest of Tesla. I'm going to kind of walk you through the short interest page that we have at Intel. We have a lot of short interest related data. And what we do is we organize this from kind of the more frequent data to the less frequent data. One of the things that we get from a broker is a list of short shares that are available to be borrowed. And we get this every 30 minutes from our broker, and we display the changes here on the right hand side. So you can see Tesla's got 10 million. They don't tell us anything more than 10 minutes. So Tesla it's very easy to short Tesla. But if you look at GameStop right now, it went from 700 to 900,000, down to 9,000 on the 28th. I know it was zero. 4 hours ago, it suddenly became 5,500. So I'm sorry, 550,000. So you can see that this is changing on a regular basis. And so this is actually a really interesting metric for people who trade frequently or actively, because it shows you kind of intraday numbers. In addition to that, there's these fee rates. So this is the interest rates that people pay whenever they want to borrow shares. And this is kind of a esoteric part of securities financing. But the higher the interest rate, the harder it is to short. And so this is something that is also updated throughout the day. You can see that we checked this last 16 minutes ago. The last change was 48 minutes ago. You can see it's becoming easier and easier to borrow for GameStop shares. Okay, it was 50% last week, and now it's down to 10%. Now, if we keep going down here, we have the short volume is the next thing that we're talking about. Short volume is not short interest. Short volume is the number of shares traded in a given day that are marked as short sales. So it's really kind of another indicator. The good news is that it comes on a daily basis. So it's kind of it's not short interest, and it's not necessarily an indicator that there's a short squeeze happening. It just shows you the total number of the total volume of shares. And so you can see all of this kind of like short volume ratio changing on a daily basis here. And there's a little graph here for you. And then we have these institutional put call ratios. So if you go back to GameStop, I'm sorry, if you go back to Melvin Capital, if you recall where did it go? I don't know if I have it anymore. But if you take the total number of companies, the total number of put ratio, put calls, the total number of the total number of put options, and the total number of call options, and you divide them, you divide the number of put options by the number of call options, you're going to get the put call ratio. And a higher put call ratio means that you're going to have a higher, it's going to be basically a higher short position. So with GameStop, we've got 2.78. With Tesla, we've got 1.59. So you can see that Tesla and you can conclude here that Tesla is less shorted than GameStop. And this is actually really interesting because this is looking at the options. And if you were looking at traditional short interest, you wouldn't see like Melvin Capital in that. But with this, you're going to capture all those companies that have options. And of course, you have the traditional short interest. Short interest is published twice a month, the 15th and the end of the month, mid-month and end of the month. It's published by the stock exchanges. We get this from NASDAQ. And you can see that the short interest here has been declining in the last 15 days. And the short interest percentage of float is 7.43. So this is really kind of the metric that people are looking for when they're trying to figure out if there's a short squeeze. If the total short interest climbs significantly as a percentage of float, then it's going to get harder and harder and harder for short holders to cover those shares if the price goes up. And so then they have to go out and they have to buy more shares and so forth. You guys kind of know how that works. So if you don't know how it works, it's very easy to do a Google search to see how short squeezes work. And so this kind of talks about how you can kind of capture what are the likelihoods of this. Now, the other thing that's interesting here is that we've started adding these kind of leaderboards. So I don't have a leaderboard for short interest as a percentage of float yet. That'll happen in another day or two. If you look at the put call ratios, I can click on put call ratio. I can see the list of companies that have the top 200 companies with the highest put call ratio. So this is pretty extreme. For every one call option disclosed by institutions, there's 223,900 put options disclosed by institutions. So here's a couple of really extreme situations where companies are heavily shorted using options, not with borrowed shares. So somebody would ask about where do you find the companies that have a high likelihood of short. This is it right here. This is the page. You can also look at if I go back up here and I take off the actual term there and I just go to the ranking page, I can actually see a list of all the ranking factors that we have. So that was stock owners put call ratio. I can look at the short volume ratio as well and see the companies that have the highest short volume ratio. If you're shorting, you're buying a put. And I can see things like insider sell buy ratio, which is another really interesting metric that talks about the number of insiders. Here's the page for the ranking page here. I'll just put it in the chat. There. That's right. Thank you for adding to that. So so there's some really interesting metrics in here that we're trying to build ranking pages for. The most interesting ones to me are the net buyer shares volume over float. This is basically takes the total number of shares bought in the last 90 days by insiders and divides them by the float. In many cases, you have a situation where that value is over 100%. How can that be? Well, in many cases, this is because of a buyout. I don't know the specifics of it, but this is a pretty new metric. I've been following it for a couple weeks or so, and I occasionally find companies that have a value that's higher than 100%. And typically, when I look into them, what I find is that some hedge fund or some venture fund um, bought in, or there was some kind of M&A activity. But this is actually really interesting because it shows a very high amount of insider positive sentiment in companies. You can also look at insider net buyer count, which is the total number of insiders buying minus the total number of insiders selling. So in this case, we had 18 different insiders buying in the previous 90 days. So you're using kind of the wisdom of the crowds here to determine which is a good. They're not looking just at the share, they're looking for the number of actual individuals or individuals that are buying. And then you go to the insider sell buy ratio, which isn't probably as interesting for. This is basically the total number of insiders selling divided by the total number of insiders buying. Any questions so far about this stuff? I'm kind of jumping around here, but I'm trying to show you guys some of the data that's really interesting to me. We'll go back to that short interest page. Well, where's this ranking page? Is that what you're asking? I literally just put it in this chat there. Do I have help docs explaining each metrics? I don't yet, but we're going to add like a data dictionary for that. And that's something we're going to be working on soon. And that's kind of why I'm giving these demos, because I don't really have help a dictionary for this stuff yet. Let's go back to short interest. Do you guys have any questions about the short interest? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. There's one other thing. There's, in addition to this short interest data, we also have a list of all the funds. So I try to put all of the data that I can find, all of the funds that I can find on this page as well, all the companies that have disclosed short position. So here's where I talk about traditional short positions, which stocks are borrowed, and then option-based shorting with put options where they're not borrowing, they're actually buying puts. So if I short this, I can see that for Tesla, Columnos Market Mutual Income Fund, has got a very, 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 very negative short position on Tesla. And then there's a couple other companies. So these are all the companies, all these negative numbers here in this column, current shares, are all companies that have taken out short positions in Tesla. And most of them seem to be increasing their short positions. You can see 552% increase, 338% increase, and so forth. Some of them are flat. Okay, you can see that here, right? And then down here with the puts. So if I can filter this, and I don't have to filter it, but I guess I can. You can sort this by puts now and say, like, these are the largest holder of puts is Susquehanna International Group, and the next would be SG Americas and so forth, and Citadel and so forth. It's possible that these companies might also have call positions so that they're market neutral, but the goal here is to really kind of show you who has the largest negative, who has the largest put positions here. Okay, so let me go back to the chat here and see what I can see here. Puts ranking page, if you're shorting the buying count. So how do you get the option of ETF a company? I don't know the question. I don't know what that means. Email support. Yeah, we have email support. We're sometimes a little bit slow with this. Can you see what the put holdings are for? So these put holdings, I'm looking at the Tesla short page. So it's for Tesla here. This is the Tesla short interest page. You cannot see, unfortunately, there's no way to see what the strike prices were for in these listings. They don't disclose those. So let's go take a look at the screen here real quick. Here's another little thing that we do. This is basically allows you to do a filter on the stock market. I actually do a whole webinar on the screen in and of itself, so I won't go too far into this, but basically allows you to put in some simple expressions here and then click on get results, and it basically runs this expressions, these formulas across every company in the universe, in our universe, which is the US. And then kind of returns the results. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of see how this works. Let's talk about insider data here. If I go to Tesla insider trades, insider trading report, I feel very strongly that insiders are a good indicator of overall sentiment in a company. I know that it's true that a lot of executives get paid in stock options, and so they're selling generally a lot to get paid, and I get that. But it's interesting that you can see, like, you can we're actually tracking, like, what is the performance of companies. So take a look at this chart here. You can see here, we're really looking at the track records of insiders. And let me kind of back up a bit. There's a lot of academic research that says that insiders tend to outperform the market or actually generate excess returns when trading in their own company. As I said earlier, insiders are not allowed to trade if they have material non-public information about the company. So if they know, for example, that they're going to make an announcement that the earnings commits expectation, they're not allowed to make a trade, or that would be illegal. But if they have a general idea that the company's doing well, or the company's doing poorly, and they don't have any specific material non-public information, then they're allowed to sell, or they're allowed to buy. Or if they think that the industry is doing poorly, they can sell. If they think that the industry is going to do well, they can buy, that type of stuff. And people that are running these companies generally are very astute about their own situations. And so what we're trying to do here at Intel is to track these in sell, or they're allowed to buy. Or if they think that the industry is doing poorly, they can sell. If they think that the industry is going to do well, they can buy, that type of stuff. And people that are running these companies generally are very astute about their own situations. And so what we're trying to do here, and really looking at the track records of insiders. And let me kind of back up a little bit. There's a lot of academic research that says that insiders tend to outperform the market or actually generate excess returns when trading in their own company. As I said earlier, insiders are not allowed to trade if they have material non-public information about the company. So if they know, for example, that they're going to make an announcement that the earnings commits expectation, they're not allowed to make a trade, or that would be illegal. But if they have a general idea that the company's doing well, or the company's doing poorly, and they don't have any specific material non-public information, then they're allowed to sell, or they're allowed to buy. Or if they think that the industry is doing poorly, they can sell. If they think that the industry is going to do well, they can buy, that type of stuff. And people that are running these companies generally are very astute about their own situations. So what we're trying to do here at Intel is to track these insiders and to actually find out which insiders do well and which ones don't do well. And so, for example, what we have here is a track record of insider purchases. And we can see that Elon Musk, on the 20th of February 14th, bought 13,000 shares. If we come over here to this chart, we can see that, well, let me just kind of step back. Over here on this list is the list of all the people, all of the insider trades that were bought in recent history that were not planned, okay? So many people understand and recognize that there are stock planners, and insiders can set up a written plan, give it to the broker, and say, you're going to trade my shares on this plan. And that's one of the ways that insiders can kind of get out of the trouble when being accused of insider trades. All of those trades, we can track them, and we know which ones are planned. So, for example, I can see that insiders can kind of get out of the trouble when being accused of insider trades. All of those trades, we can track them, and we know which ones are planned. So, for example, I can see that in this transaction history, Andrew Baglino and Drone has made a number of trades. They've all been part of 10b5-1 plans here. So there's, it's not really that interesting to me. What's interesting to me are the trades that are not part of any 10b5-1 plans. And so if you keep going down here, sooner or later you're going to find some. Or what's interesting to me has made a number to trade my shares on this plan. And that's one of the ways that insiders can kind of get out of the trouble when being accused of insider trades. All of those trades, we can track them and we know which ones are planned. So for example, I can see that in this transaction history, Andrew Baglino and Jerome has made a number of trades. They've all been part of 10b5-1 plans here. So there's, it's not Andrew Baglino. Okay. So many people understand and recognize that there are stock plans and insiders can set up a written plan, give it to the broker and say, you're going to trade my shares on this plan. And that's one of the ways that insiders can kind of get out of the trouble when being accused of insider trades. All of those trades, we can track them and we know which ones are planned. So for example, I can see that in this transaction history, Andrew Baglino and Jerome has made a number of trades. They've all been part of 10b5-1 plans here. So there's, it's not really that interesting to me. What's interesting to me are the trades that are not part of 10b5-1 plans. And so if you keep going down here, sooner or later you're going to find some. Or you can just look at this chart here. So here's the chart. Here's the list of all the trades that were made that were not pre-planned by an insider. And here's the list of all the sales that were not pre-planned. Now, Elon Musk perhaps is not the best example, or Tesla perhaps is not the best example because the share price has only gone up over the last couple of years. But now, Elon Musk perhaps is not the best example, or Tesla perhaps is not the best example because the share price has only gone up over the last couple of years. But if you were to take a look at this, and look at other companies and look at the trades that were made, you would actually be able to see like what was the actual profit, the potential returns from these kind of theoretical returns. If Elon Musk made this trade on February 14th at a reported share price of $767 and a cost of about $10 million. Since then, the price has gone to $22.38, and he's made 191% return on this. So he's done pretty well in his own company. You can see the maximum theoretical return will become the right. On the right-hand side, or down here, you can see trades that were sold, and you can see kind of how much loss they avoided when Elon Musk made this trade on February 14th at a reported share price of $767 and a cost of about $10 million. Since then, the price has gone to $22.38, and he's made 191% return on this. So he's done pretty well in his own company. You can see the maximum theoretical return will become the right. On the right-hand side, or down here, you can see trades that were sold, and you can see kind of how much loss they avoided when in these trades. This guy made all these trades in the same day, and they all basically avoided losing about 8% of the total value here. Any questions about this so far? Let's go to AMC, or I don't know. I'm going to try BlackBerry just because we don't have a lot of stuff with BlackBerry. Yeah, okay. So here's a situation here where two people made trades almost within the same week. April 8th and April 3rd. Two different people bought 10,000 shares on the open market, and they went along pretty much unchanged for about 260 days, and then suddenly they went to $25. Okay, so look at that. What a beautiful chart here. So what does that tell you? Like, if these guys do really well, they've only made one trade, as far as you can tell, in the last one trade each in the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, and they were huge winners. Okay, do you guys see that? Can you guys still hear me? Okay. Is there anybody in the chat still? Okay.
Mr. Barbara. That was April 3rd, 2020. Ho Billy. April 8th, 2020. We both brought 10,000 shares. Made a max profit. The PL. Ho Billy. 213,100. Miss Barbara. 218,600. Look at that. For returns of 562.27%, 674.69%. And they're saying that they've only made like one trade. Each of them just made one trade in the last 10 years. So, are you kidding me? Like,
okay.
for what company is that though?
Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. Cool. So, I'm really trying to work hard to try to figure out how to tease this information out. And I hope you guys can kind of see the value here. It's not always easy, but this is kind of and I didn't know about BlackBerry before I came here. I kind of go around and I kind of look at companies and try to find these kinds of situations, this kind of stuff. But if Billy Ho buys more
That's for
trades
BlackBerry. Oh, that's for BlackBerry. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this was a BlackBerry trade, a BlackBerry play, BlackBerry Ltd. But they purchased stock all the way in April. So that's what I'm saying. Patience, patience, patience. Patience, how you get the job done.
BlackBerry
Patience pays off.
the next day or two, then you really should pay attention to this guy. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up a way for us to get alerts for stuff like this. But ultimately, what you might do is you might go subscribe to BlackBerry and kind of look for Billy Ho's trades or for Barbara's trades, that kind of thing. In addition to that, here's another situation where Billy Ho sold shares on the 20th, and he sold 20,000 shares, and he avoided, and subsequent to that, 13 days later, the share price went from $12.95 to $11.55. He avoided losing $28,000. He avoided losing 10%, or almost 11% of that value. So that's the idea here. Is we're trying to look at the actual post-trade performance of insiders in their own companies to determine who is doing really well and who's doing not. One of the projects underway right now is to provide a leaderboard of, the best trades, so the best insider trades in the last year, or the person or the insider with the best track records. And so, that's kind of, and then be able to follow them and kind of take them things perhaps. That's kind of one of the things that they're working on. Would that be interesting to you guys? How complete is this data set? So we go back to 2012 for all of our SEC data. You do not. So you need to learn the programming. So I don't think so. I mean, really, this is not a programming language. This is just expressions, right? This is a language. It's a kind of a reduced language. And we're going to kind of build it up more, but we're trying to make this pretty simple. And in addition to that, we're actually working on building a drag and drop feature on this as well. So that people who are not comfortable with kind of building text expressions here can kind of drag and drop their stuff. One of the things that's interesting about this, and just let me step into this. If you go look at a lot of screeners, they allow you to do things like just say, find the companies where the price is greater than 10, or the price is lower than 15, or the PE ratio is greater than 10%. So those are helpful, but for me, and for a lot of kind of, I will say, advanced finance guys, being able to build an expression where you have variables on the left and the right is important, and that's really the genesis of this. And that's why it looks more complicated. It's a lot more powerful, but it's a lot more complicated. So is the data available to paying subscribers? We have some data that's free, but most of the really interesting stuff it's premium, and that's really goes to support our efforts on trying to increase the product value. We're a small business. We have 5-6 engineers on staff, almost exclusively working on stuff here. And so the money goes, to basically furthering the product development and finding more data that we can turn into something that's really indicative of future questions. What is the best way to filter out the insider purchases with their automatic incentives and other insider payments if they're not direct fee purchases? So I think the answer to your question is to look at it's a good question, and I do all of that goes right here. So all of this stuff that's interesting, that's a non-plan, and it's an open market purchase, is going to show up here in the track records of insider purchases. I don't know if you're trying to do this over the entire universe. Let me go take a look at the insider data here. This is another thing that we have. There's insider trades. If I go do this toolbar up here and I go to the latest insider trades, let's see what happens. It's 9:45, so we've covered a lot of ground here. This is actually really something that we put a lot of effort into, the insider trade data. I think the answer to your question is what you're asking about is significant buying. We're trying to build. This is another kind of leaderboard type thing. Which are not direct fee purchases. I don't know the answer to that question. Well, you're going to have to take it up with me later on in regards to that, but I don't think I'm answering your question. I think I can answer your question. If you want to just see the latest transaction, you can come here. You can see here that we're tagging these as auto trades or not. I'm kind of building a quant model, and so this is kind of the results of that quant model. Basically trying to find percentage of float bought by insiders here. And so if you're looking at trying to discover companies that are interesting, then this is probably a good place to go. We also do this thing where we're starting to look at sectors. And if you take all the companies in a sector and you roll the insider trades up to that sector level, you can actually find total volume, which is interesting. But really, you're looking at what's interesting to me is the ratio of insiders selling versus buying by sector. And so, what this means is financials, the sell by ratio is 1.39. So we go back 90 days, we look at everybody. We count all the insiders that are buying, and we look at all the insiders that are selling in the last 90 days, and we divide them in. Information technology has got a huge sell-by ratio. This is a very negative indicator, negative sentiment. If you were to go back a month ago, financials would have been below 1, which meant financial insiders were actually, more of them were buying than were selling. And then you can kind of go to we have a macro indicator up here, which is kind of more of the same, but we got some charts here. So here's the total market insider selling versus buying ratio. It's at a peak that hasn't been met since December, mid 2017. We take every company, every insider that's in the United States that supplies insider data. We go back, I think this is 7 years, and we plot the ratio over 90 days against the S&P. And to me, this is kind of a negative indicator. Look at what happened here. This is a big drop here. this may or may not have been predicted, but you can see kind of how these kind